health and a little wealth and a lot of love.
About Akkermansia, which, unless you are a microbiome enthusiast or a functional medicine enthusiast, you have probably never heard of before. So Akkermansia muciniphila is a type of bacteria that was isolated in our gut several years ago in the early 2000s and thought to be one of those friendly bacteria that actually helps us with our system processes. And it's coming out in a lot of studies now to show a lot of benefits that are kind of outside of the normal benefits that you would think of as, as gut microbiome benefits. And so some of those that we've seen really kind of surround the metabolic health and obesity side of things. So if you have higher levels of Akkermansia on stool studies, so if you give I know it's not always comfortable, but if you give a stool study, if you poop in a cup and send it off for testing, if you have higher...
what you do for science.
I know it's gross, but it's helpful. But if you have higher levels of Akkermansia, it's actually tied to a lot of benefits like improved metabolic health, decreased obesity, decreased waist circumference, insulin resistance is lower in those who have higher Akkermansia levels. I was actually, I love Mark Hyman and love listening to his podcasts. And he did a whole podcast on the gut microbiome. So if you haven't listened to that and you find this stuff really interesting like I do, I would recommend tuning in and listening to that. But he had a guest on there who specifically spoke to the fact that it improved how his mother responded to cancer treatment. So before, she had an unbalanced gut microbiome, and then she started taking Akkermansia probiotic supplements and then also changed her diet. And she was all of a sudden responsive to a cancer treatment that she was not responsive to before, which I think is absolutely fascinating. I mean, we're finding now too about mood and anxiety and depression. So, and how Akkermansia or increased levels can positively impact that. So I think it is, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
But no, that is fascinating. I think it is interesting to see.
With a little health and a little wealth and a lot of love. That's the life that we live. Suits and scrubs.